Hello! This week's tutorial is, or this week's Saturday video is a crafting tutorial. Yep. I don't often do those because I'm actually not all that good at stuff like that. But for school I had to buy a glue gun, quite some time back already, but yeah. I bought this one at Pipo's, which is a crafting store here in the Netherlands. You can also buy them at most budget stores, I think, and yeah. They're available in a lot of places, and yeah, for those of you, well, there's probably very few people who don't know what a glue gun is. But for those very few people, a glue gun is basically just, you know, a gun type thing that you can put glue sticks in, and it turns hot, and then the glue turns liquid, and then you can just use it to glue stuff to other stuff, obviously. But personally, I actually like to just put it on like a piece of plastic or something that you just peel it off later. And to then just make sort of shapes with it and decoration materials. So yeah, I thought, seeing as it's almost spring, or maybe when this goes up it is already spring, I thought it'd be fun to just show you how I make some spring decorations with it. And hopefully, you know, some of you might actually be like, hey, let's do that as well, because trust me, it's really fun to do. Just be careful not to burn your hands. Yeah, that's basically all I have to say about it. Let's get started. So I started out with a sheet of baking paper. As you can see, I've already used this. You can also use heat resistant plastic. And then I just used the marker to make some pretty simple shapes. Because really with a glue gun you can't really make too many tiny details, so it's just best to keep it simple. So I started out with a little rabbit, or at least the face of the rabbit. Then an egg, which is pretty much the simplest thing possible. A little chicken. And I also want to freehand the flower, but again I want to freehand it, so I didn't draw that yet. And then it pretty much looks like this. Doesn't have to stand out a lot, as long as you can see where you want to put the glue later. And yeah, before I started on painting them actually, or drawing them, I actually already plugged in the glue gun, because it needs to heat up obviously. And then I just carefully outlined all the shapes. I did make sure that these are the thickest lines, because I don't want them to fall apart later obviously. And this is pretty much one of the steps. Like the whole glue gun thing is basically what takes the most time of this entire tutorial thing. So I sped up most of it, and yeah, then I just made thinner lines and just sort of made a wavy pattern. Just to make sure that everything is sort of connected, just to give it more strength. You could also fill it in completely, but that will take a lot of glue. The way I did it, it took like, I don't know, 3 or 4 glue sticks. So yeah, if you fill them in completely, that might also look good. I don't know, I've never tried, because that would take a whole lot of glue. And as I said at the beginning, do make sure not to accidentally touch the glue, because it's hot. And also don't mind it if you make any tiny mistakes, because you can fix them all the way at the end, which I'll show you then. And if you're really in a hurry, you can always just keep it at X, because again, that's pretty much the easiest thing possible. For the flower I made heart first, and I didn't want it to look neat or anything, I just wanted it to look sort of, I don't know, sort of funky, I guess. So yeah, that's also pretty easy. Then I made quite a thick flower stem, because if you make a very thin, long line, it probably might break, which wouldn't be good. And then I used acrylic paint to paint them once the glue had cooled down. You can also use nail polish if you want glitter or something. But yeah, for this I don't know, with autumn and Easter things, I just always want the colors to be sort of soft and pastel-ish. So I decided to go for acrylic paint. And yeah, obviously I just did the entire bunny in brown. And just filled in the ears. And painted a little face on it. I'm not actually like keeping track of where the lines are or anything. I just basically painted on the mouth and everything in the shape I wanted it. And just, you know, on whatever piece of the face happened to have glue on it, I guess. Difficult to explain, yeah. Anyways, then I filled in the chicken the same way. Also, if you want the colors to be brighter, you can always apply multiple layers. I only applied one layer because, again, I didn't want it to be too opaque. Just want it to be sort of softly colored. But applying 2 layers is always possible, of course. And with the flower, I first filled in the heart of the flower. And then just filled the rest of it in with pink and red. I didn't just want to use one color, I just wanted to use 2 colors because I don't know, I think it looked more interesting, so yeah. And obviously the rest of the flower is just green. And then it's time to let it dry and dry and dry, it takes some time. And then carefully remove it off the paper. Glue gun glue is sort of like really stretchy, but it can bend easily, so it's not as if it will crack very quickly. But I do recommend being careful with this because, you know, it'd be a waste if it break. So yeah, at this point, on mine the acrylic paint wasn't completely dry yet, so yeah, there's some stains on my hands now. But I didn't want to wait any longer. And then once everything is off the paper, it's time to just cut off any sort of mistake parts. There were some tiny ones on the rabbit and also a rather big one on the little chicken. And then you'll be left with the rabbit, and the back just looks like that. And a little egg. And if you're in a hurry, you can always just do eggs, because seriously, they're just the easiest thing ever. And a little chicken. And a flower. And yeah, that's it. So that was the entire tutorial. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Bye! What song do you secretly love to sing along loudly? Well, it's not really a secret, although I do try to not do it when other people are, you know, anywhere near me, because